estate agents, welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host and producer of the show, Joey Sampaga. What's going on, buddy?
Nothing much. I'm excited about this one. Look at that car back there.
Yeah, if you're watching, so if you're listening to the podcast, you're not going to see this awesome car, but if you're watching the video, you're going to see it. Hey, we have a great guest with us in the house today. We got Patrick Rapps, loan officer with Cherry Creek Mortgage, and Tony Scardina with Security Title Agency. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Excellent.
Tony, you look clean shaven there, buddy.
I did. I did shave this week. I figured I'd try to be professional at least once a year.
Please tell me you're wearing pants at least.
Don't ask me to stand up. Okay.
You're not supposed to ask those things on Zoom, Joe.
It's a Zoom meeting, man. Professional from the neck down.
Take your weekly shower whether you need it or not.
That's right.
Yeah, there you go. So, Patrick, why don't we start with you sharing with agents that are watching and listening how you got into mortgage business and how long you've been doing it?
Well, I've been doing it for 25 years now. I got in the mortgage business, believe it or not, I was selling cars, and I envisioned myself being that guy that stayed at the same dealership, sold cars for, forever. And when people's kids grew up and wanted a car, they would do it. But the business had changed. You couldn't do that anymore. So I needed to find something I could do legacy work. I could work for people and keep them as clients over and over again and keep serving them. So I got in the mortgage business.
That's cool. 25 years.
Yeah.
You know, when you think of 25 years, though, it really is just, you think 1998 was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
97, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, it just seems like it was just yesterday, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I can promise you I got in the business that long ago. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I think Patrick said earlier, he said, I remember when I first met Tony, he had like a full head of hair.
Yeah.
That's true.
How long you been in title, Tony?
26 years. I think January 1st will be 27.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Agents, if you're watching and listening, if you haven't worked with Tony, he's a heck of a title rep over there at Security Title. So give him a shout.
Yeah.
So Patrick, let's get into
Fun to hang out
topic for today. We're going to talk about kind of the market, right? What's going on with the market on the mortgage side for sure.
So
Why don't you jump in and let us know what's going on?
yeah, it's panic. It's like Ghostbusters, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Well, I've seen it before being in this long. It's a little bit, it's certainly tough and a lot of people are freaking out, but it's just time to go back to basics and deal with knowing doing what you know how to do and help people get into houses, dig deep, find programs that'll work, find affordability, because that's the biggest issue now is affordability.
Absolutely.
The houses are there. The loan products are there. Just with the rates, what they are, it's kind of tough to afford a house. So people are turning to things like the 2-1 buy downs and even the 3-2-1 buy down. We do, which I always think that's funny because it's folks. So, hey, here's a great new product. And, 20 years ago, I bought my first house that way.
Well, it
Yeah,
seems
the
like all the
3-2-1 was around in the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I want to say my parents used that to buy their first house when he retired from the military.
Yeah, probably so, because the rates were in the 10% range back then, which you want to talk 7% isn't scary. 10% is scary.
Absolutely. So I've heard a lot of loan officers on social media and stuff, putting out a message about the 2-1 buy down, right?
Right.
You mentioned the 3-2-1 also. So are some lenders can do a 3-2-1, some can't?
Yeah. Yeah, we do a 3-2-1. There's not a lot that do it yet, but it's got to be so currently it has to be the seller pays for it. So basically you're just supplementing the payment for the first 3 years. The rates based upon 3% for the borrower the first year, and then 2%, then 1%, then what it would have been in the first place. And the escrow deposit up front is basically what it is. They just put the money in there and it supplements your payment along the way to that degree, 3-2-1.
Got it. And I think right now in the market, if I remember from the Crawford report too, saying that we're seeing a lot of transactions now that actually have the seller, giving concessions basically. So
yeah, I was on that the other day. I think it was what, almost 50% of them have.
Yeah.
Something in that range.
That high, huh?
Yeah.
And you know what, everyone, people want to sell, and this is that time of year. And then we got the double whammy. You know, it's in all reality, we're in the normal lull period anyhow. School has started, holidays coming. It's always slow this time of year anyway. But you know, we've got the extra added bonus of the high rates. But
Oh, don't forget, we get to vote soon too.
well,
Absolutely.
that's going to change things.
We might have already voted by the time this is out. I don't know.
It's true.
What is it? Only
I'm guessing, yeah.
Is it only 2 weeks?
I think we're 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, 2
Yeah.
weeks.
November 8th, right?
8th.
Yeah. So we definitely got to get out there and vote for sure.
Yeah. So, well, the 3-2-1 buy down is just an example of a product that's to try to make it a little bit easier to ease people into owning a home, you know, especially people that haven't owned before. There's that concept of payment shock, and it really helps with that. You know, people confuse it with an adjustable rate, which it certainly isn't. It's just a way, you know, your budget changes when you get into a house, and it makes it easier to pay. You get used to what you're paying
Patrick, they
on a monthly basis.
just for newer agents, you're qualifying them based off of what the rate is, right? Not
Yeah.
the 2 or 1. It's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So we qualify them for the full payment. It's just about making their life a little easier for the first few years. So if the rate's 7.5%, let's say, you know, you're going to be at 4.5% effective for the first year, and then 5.5, et cetera. And it just, you know, you can handle those budgetary items, remodeling, painting, you know, all the little stuff that you have to do when you get into a house, and it just cushions the blow.
Yeah.
Big screen TVs.
No.
Those, yeah.
So what do you say if somebody says they want to go buy a big screen TV right before closing, or a car?
I get that. I've gotten that many, many times, but I just can't wait. It's the best sale ever. It's no interest until, you know, forever. Nope. It's that or the house. One of the two. You gotta pick one.
Well, at least they're asking you.
Yeah. Well, you do this many years, and that's the first thing you bring up. You're not doing anything. You're on bread and water until you close on the house. It's
Yeah.
And if I remember right, Patrick gives a little list of do's and don'ts to his clients, and that really, I think, makes a big difference. A lot of new LOs that don't have the experience he does don't always do that, and they get blindsided. We joke about that, but I've seen plenty of properties fall out of escrow because they bought cars or lent money or charged credit cards or bought an entire house full of furniture and said, but they said they're not going to charge it until it closes. You have the card? Yeah, we got the card. Guess what?
Yeah, absolutely.
well, you know, I tell them the facts. I tell them, if you get your credit pulled, we're going to get an alert that you've pulled your credit somewhere, and we've got to answer that. So
Yeah, for sure.
it's not like it used to be where they pull a credit report at the end where it's a surprise. As soon as they pull it, we get a report.
Yeah. I think what you should do is take that list and make it kind of a sticky note type thing. And tell everybody they have to put it on their bathroom mirror for the next 30 days. It's got your name, your number, and all the do not do's
On the
on it.
refrigerator.
I like it.
So that way they see it every single morning, right?
You know, I really like that. Get one of those static clean things, you know, that stick to glass and
Yeah. That's actually a good idea. And then have your face on the bottom.
spritz
that
a little
way they're
water
seeing-
on there and squeegee it on. Do
Yeah.
this, don't do this.
Well, and that way they're seeing your name and contact information for the next full month every single day. So when they have friends and family say, well, we're thinking about this, they'll be like, oh, hey, you should call my guy.
That's it. That's really an excellent idea. Make it a little bit humorous and don't make it too serious. But the reminder, I like it.
You can put one in the bathroom.
Yeah. Bath.
Yeah.
That's what I meant, in the bathroom on the mirror.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Put one in your guest bathroom.
Yeah. Hey, with printing technology, what it is now, we could set it up so that it's got a print and there's a picture of your house here, and there's a frame and your face is in the middle. Picture yourself here. This is how you get here on this. That would
Oh, that's
work.
great.
Cell phone holder.
Cell phone holder.
Yeah.
Only for Apple products.
That's right. Great marketing mind.
You'll
So
set
what
Tony
about-
off if you tell him that.
Yeah. So we've seen rates being crazy lately, right? I mean, up and down, up and down. It's
Yeah.
almost like a daily thing, or maybe even hourly thing, it seems like, but how do you have those conversations with people then, because you're getting them pre-qualified at a certain rate, right? And then the next week or the next day, it might be totally different.
Well, it's, I tell them that it's a very unusual market. It's like follow the bouncing ball, sing along with Mitch thing. But I know I prep them that it's going to change, and we base it upon that. But I also tell them that as soon as we're ready to, there's markets where you can kind of, people in the past have tended to wait. Oh, we wait for the better rate. It's going to get a little bit better. It's going to get a little bit better once we're into contract before we lock. And I tell them there's two kinds of markets. There's the roulette market and there's the blackjack market. Blackjack is when you got the cards on the table. You kind of know what's coming next. You can kind of guess if it's going to get better. And then I tell them, right now we're in a roulette market. Spin the wheel and what you get's what you get. It's really kind of what it is. But, I always make sure that they're aware that we can do other things like the 2-1 buy down, and it that way it doesn't affect you as much anyway. And I don't want to, stick on that particular product. It's not a lot of them taking it off the bat, but it's a way to just cushion the blow in advance in case it does get worse.
Yeah. So do you think that so there's a very high likelihood that the Fed is going to continue to raise the Fed funds rate through the end of the year, going into the beginning of next year?
Yeah, that's really
and I know
tough.
those are not correlated exactly with the mortgage rate, but are you thinking that rates might get higher on the mortgage side too?
I'm actually an optimist because I personally think that I think the market is just too unsettled, and the fear is causing the rate to be higher now. And I think once the election happens, uncertainty's over with, we get what we get, whatever happens, happens. I think the market's going to calm down. There's some rumblings out there that a few of the Fed members are saying we might be getting a little bit aggressive. So I think the market's got some hope now. I think we're overpriced, not because of those Fed rates, as you mentioned, but just because of uncertainty in the market.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, it's got to be hard for the mortgage companies, even with their rate sheets and everything, with how fast things are changing, and with the whole keeping up with the secondary markets and everything, I'm sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, and people wonder why it's so expensive. And honestly, if you want to know where the industry really thinks what's going to happen, you can speculate all you want. My crystal ball broke years ago, but I think the market kind of expects that the rate's going to get better in the first couple quarters. And as a result of that, every mortgage company knows that they're going to have such runoff. As soon as those rates get better, they're going to have a ton of refinances, and they don't do loans to lose money. So that kind of affects rates now too. Yeah,
absolutely.
And by the way, if you need a crystal ball, you can check with Sue Reagan. She did get one last year as a gift from me, so she does use it quite often. Just saying.
I'll have to call her up.
Yeah, call Sue. She'll hook you up to, hang on, let me get out the ball. Oh, there we go.
Guaranteed 50-50?
Guaranteed. 90% of the time, it's 25% accurate.
All right.
That's funny.
So, Patrick, are there any buyer assistant programs that are popping up here? Or?
Well, there are. They're a little tough right now. I've got one that's out there. That's an organization that puts together decent down payment. The state of Arizona ones are a little tough right now, and the Pima County one are a little tough because the rate spreads are such that they can't offer all of the programs. You can't get the full down payment effect because it just becomes a high cost loan. Because the rates and fees on that just have to be so high that it outstrips the APOR, the average price rate that the feds use as a marker for a high cost loan. So it makes it tough. That's why it's not there. But they're coming back as rates stabilize a little bit, as far as stay in a narrow band. More and more of that's coming back.
Okay.
Got it.
It's even tough to find that down payment money, but it's out there.
Yeah. Are people starting to, I saw on CNBC anyway, that people are starting to navigate towards ARMs as well? You've seen a lot of
there is a lot of that going on. The ARM rates aren't necessarily as good as you'd wish right now for some of the same reasons, but ARMs are starting to be considered, and they're doing the 7-year ARMs is what people are looking at, because you can qualify them at the start rate rather than the fully adjusted rate, because it gives plenty of time for them to get used to it.
So you can qualify them off of the lower rate if it's 7 years.
Yeah, I think it's over 5 years. So
Over
no one's
five?
doing
Okay.
a 6 year, but on the
Right.
7 and the 10, you can use that the
it.
start rate to qualify. So that helps a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are you doing in this changing market, I guess? What are you doing right now as far as getting your business? Are you, is it mostly from referrals from database? Are you staying in front of them, or you work with a lot of realtors, or?
It's database, realtors, it's all of the above, really. And you've just got to work a lot harder. I mean, I may not be any given day working on 3 loans. I'm working on finding 3 loans, but seems like it's actually, it's almost more work, but it's fairly rewarding because now you start finding people who in the past didn't think they could buy, and they're figuring, well, it's time, I better try now or I won't ever get to. And it's fairly rewarding, even if you have to work with them for a while, but just taking clients one step at a time to get them to the point that it makes sense. We set a target, and if they're not quite there yet for that kind of price range, we set a plan to get them there.
Got it. So tell me how
it is database, and sorry.
No, you're good.
Database and agents and talking to agents to let them know, look, a lot of those people that wanted to buy before and weren't able to buy, they've been working on it ever since, and it's time to go back to them and help them get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And how about this fella here with you, Tony? How long have you guys been working together and working as a team and everything?
We were joking about it a little bit earlier about time frame and his hair being still there, but it's got to have been pretty close to 18 years we've known each other and worked together.
Yeah, I was going to say 18, 19. I remember we worked together at Zip Realty.
That's right. That's right. When I worked for
Zip Realty for a while.
Yeah. And that was when I worked for a big bank, but we started working together, and frankly, having done it at that point for as long as I had, I'd been through a number of title companies, and once we started working together, I realized I didn't need to go anywhere else. So,
Wow.
I don't think, other than when it was somewhere out of area, I don't think I've ever sent anyone any transaction to title other than security. So
Tony has that effect on people.
he does.
The crystal ball effect. I will say this: Patrick works with some good friends of mine that I'm very, very close with. A big supporter of the business. I've helped everything from set up their computers in their office and their phone to, you name it. And Patrick's usually in there right there with me, side by side. We're just knocking it out, and we share in their business and their success. And I think that's what makes it important, is to not just be partners between each other, but to share that partnership with the clients we work with, in that mutual introduction of building each other's business and continuing to grow, not only as ourselves, but as a team. So makes it cool. I like having friends like that. Yeah. We have a lot of things in common too. So I think that helps.
Makes it easier, right? Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, well, I found out that I could call him on Saturday and he'd pick up the phone. That started it. So
for business,
I started that a long time ago myself. I mean, that's
if he needs ammo, he just calls me. I send him some ammo.
Yeah. Well, and that's another piece of this. When you asked about a tough market, you can't. It's always driven me crazy. You've got these lenders that they sound. And they're busy. I don't take away from that, but they sound kind of self-important. They say, well, I'm returning calls between 3 and 6 and this. And to me, it's kind of off-putting. And I mean, it's just me, because I know during the 2008 crash, I was working for a bank and I was doing prequels so people could make offers on the house. And I was doing 10, 15 prequels on a Sunday just so people could offer on a house. And they were mad at me when they started the phone conversation, but I just got so used to it, integrated into my life. I don't care if I'm on vacation, as long as I've got service, I take the call. I don't know who's on the other end. It might be a telemarketer, but hopefully it's a client. And I can't be that selective. I have to take those calls. I mean, Tony will know when I mention this, I do camping. I've got this huge Bell canvas tent and stuff, and I'll go camping, but I'll go the weekend before, check the area to make sure I can get cell service before I go pick a spot.
Yeah, I like camping myself, and I bought it's a cell phone enhancer or the signal enhancer.
I've been thinking about one of those.
Yeah, I forget the technical name for it, but they work great.
Oh, you put that on your Jeep, right?
That's on the Jeep.
That's pretty cool. I've never talked to anyone who actually got one. I knew they existed, but
Yeah, as long as there's cell phone service, like if you have one bar, it'll kick it to 2 or 3, and so you're able to use it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you know what? So I have to say this. This is strange to me that we have places that we have no cell phone service, because my wife and I in 2009 went to Africa. We were on a safari also. Well, we were there working in an orphanage for like 17 days, but we went on safari for 1.5 of those days. And here we are in the middle of nowhere and the driver's able to take a phone call. And I'm like, what? We're in the US and we have spots that you can't even get a service. It was crazy.
I'm on Bell Road and I can't even get a good signal. What the heck?
Yeah. I mean,
you drive across the 101 at Cave Creek over that little hill right there, and it drops every time.
I know which part.
Hardly Africa.
That's crazy. So this question for both of you guys, for mortgage and title, but because I think right now there's probably a lot of loan officers and title reps that are probably pretty stressed out about the fact that the number of transactions have dropped a lot, right?
Oh, dramatically.
Especially some of the newer ones that maybe have just started in the last couple of years, right? What advice would you give, somebody who's really good at the job, but they're fairly new in this and they just haven't witnessed what we're going through? What would be a tip to give them to kind of get through this?
It's a little counterintuitive because everyone's out there trying to market, push the marketing of what we've got. We've got this program, we've got that program. And I'm noticing that, I'm seeing it. And it's usually with the newer agents or newer lenders who are just afraid they've got nothing going on. And I do it a little bit differently. Instead of trying to push products, everybody knows you've got products. Just make sure that you're the person to trust. Get out there in front. And what I mean by that is be unavoidable for comment. But don't push product on them because they already know the product. They don't need that. Everyone makes the mistake of trying to push that. We've got the best this and this and this. Agents know that. And I don't do that. I mean, there's times when I'll say, hey, a new thing came out, but that's not my main focus. It's just being there. They know they can reach me. They know they'll get the answers from me when they have questions. And beyond that, you just have to know what you're talking about when they ask you questions.
Yeah.
So study up and just be there, show up to their events, show up, support them in what they need to. Go to the open house. You're not doing any loans at an open house. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But just be there to support those agents. And that's where the relationships are going to come from. And that's what'll get you the business.
Yeah. Old school style.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to give you a thumbs up on the old school, Patrick, because at the end of the day, let's be honest, there's only so many ways we can market and communicate. We can dial the phone, we can knock the doors, we can send the postcards, we can send the electronic stuff. But after all that, then what? I've got to be face to face, nose to nose, belly to belly. And I got to ask you one thing. I'm not going to vomit all these great tools because let's be honest, I have every tool that exists. There isn't one that exists that we don't have access to. And some people don't even have half of the things we have. So I'm not worried about tools. I'm worried about providing the thing that you need. So I'm not going to go, hey, Jeff, I got all these great tools and I can do these things. Nobody cares. Would it be better to go, hey, Jeff, what is it that you need in your business that's going to enhance what you're currently doing? So I don't vomit ideas. I ask what's missing and I try and give you the missing link in your business to better it. Be a partner. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. That's our real job. All of us, that's our real job. I don't care if you're a realtor, a lender, what you are, an ancillary person in this business has to fill that void of whatever it is you're lacking, that person's lacking.
It's definitely about relationships. And, I know the old school stuff of belly to belly, pick up the phone, go to coffee with someone and speak to them. I mean, that's the way you grow your relationships. And, I'm looking at, if anyone's watching the video here, if you look at Patrick's background, I mean, he's it's old school. I see Beastie Boys album back there. And
Yeah, I got the
old.
Got a record player.
Wow.
Does that need a band? I could put a band in that for you. That's how old I am.
Stereo components back there.
Yeah, don't call me too old. My birthday was just it was actually just 10 days ago, so I'm feeling it right now. But
Mine was 8 days ago. So
Yeah.
Hey, happy birthday.
or no, 7 days. Yeah.
He's so
Appreciate
old, he doesn't remember.
Yeah, I don't keep track anymore.
well, no, it's true. It's not. It's easy to call it old school and all that, but it's just relationship building is the only way you're going to get there, and you can't expect it to happen overnight. If you weren't already doing it, you got 6 months ahead of you to build a platform. It may work right away, it may not, but you just got to buckle down to know that you can't take a vacation right now unless you can really afford to and wait for things to come back. Your work has changed. That's all.
Yeah. Well, it ultimately comes down to that relationship building, though. I mean, you've got the people that you know, your sphere of influence. So that's your foundation. And then anything on top of that, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or whatever, YouTube. I mean, that just goes on top of the foundation. It all starts with, who do I know? Who am I speaking to? Who am I staying in touch with? Who am I, meeting with? That's what's important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
True story.
Yep. So if we see things, I don't know, maybe slow going through the end of the year, what kind of things are you doing right now to kind of gear up for the new year?
Well, that's a good question. I'm doing, I've changed a few things that I'm doing. I've started doing bomb videos recently,
That's
just
good.
to get that information out. I just really want to make sure that I talk to enough agents and buyers, and everyone's a possible buyer, to make sure that they know that it's not going to last forever, and that, I'm going to be here. And when they've got questions throughout all this stuff, to just stay in touch, and I can let them know what's happening, at least in as much as I can see what's happening, and just, again, still be unavoidable. I mean, I use Facebook even. I have a Facebook group that has nothing to do with mortgages whatsoever. And I just try to be consistent and the same all the time in dealing with the sales group and how I apply rules and so on. So I just become that trusted person. And in the meantime, it's just making sure that my workflow is not going to get lazy, so that I'm ready when it does pick back up again.
Hey, Patrick, how many people are on that Facebook page that you were in reference to?
Oh, the one that I was talking about? Yeah, there's 30,000.
Yeah.
Oh,
30,000 people.
In a private group.
wow.
It's one of those sales groups. You list your stuff for sale and
Okay. Facebook marketplace type thing.
Yeah, it's pre-marketplace. I've been doing it for, good Lord. I didn't start the group. An agent I know started it, but I maintain it. And it's been 10 years, but
At least 10 years.
yeah. It's they call them SWIP swaps, and they used to call a lot of them that. And we've got one that stayed together because we applied the rules, and frankly, it works for me because of that. But it's just trying to be consistent and stay out in front of people and be positive and make sure that they know to be positive, because agents, it's too easy. The sky is falling. Everyone's saying the sky is falling. And if we've been through this before, it gets over with. It won't last forever. It won't even last as long as you're afraid it's going to last. Just be positive and keep digging at it. And if I can support them that way, that's.
And think about this, when the market was at its worst, 06, 08, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
2 years is a blip on the radar of, 30 years of anything.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, if you look at the market today, it really isn't bad. It's normal. It's normal.
Everybody's gotten really complacent with the whole, if I can't get 2%, then I'm getting ripped off. I'm going to walk away from this house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can't sell my house in a week.
Right. Exactly. That's tough, because what was average marketing time back in the day? It was
nothing.
Yeah. It was 45 days. They'd sit on the market. It was not a big deal. 2 weeks was nothing.
Yeah.
Well, you bring up a good point. I mean, there's a lot of fear and there's too much information now available, whereas back then you didn't have 14 talking heads telling you that it's all over with and give up all hope. And the social media just makes that everyone likes to play on fear and what's going to happen negative. So that's why I stay on the positive side, because if everyone's spouting negative stuff, it's not going to help us. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah. I love that.
I'm an optimist too. I mean, right now we're sitting in one of the best places in the country for growth. I mean, you've seen the number. If you see Cromford, you've seen the numbers they're talking about businesses coming here. Average job, it's 4,000 jobs throughout 2022. And I think the average income's $75,000 on those jobs. And that, with the fact that people are combining incomes, combining households, we're going to have a lot of buyers with down payment money when this starts to relax a little bit.
Yep. I agree. Super Bowl's coming.
Super Bowl is coming.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I'd like to buy a couple of houses.
Hopefully
just
the
to
Chiefs are
rent them
there.
Well, I'm not much of a football fan, but where I'm from, we've been always the bridesmaid, never the bride. So dang Vikings.
Oh,
Right.
you know what? They're having a decent year though, right?
Yeah. Well, as I said, I don't follow football much like I used to, but
Yeah.
I have to be a fan. I would, I'd rather go to a Twins game than a Vikings game, but still.
Got it.
So,
Anything else you guys want to share with the agents before we move to the last segment here?
let's see what time. Oh yeah, we've got a few
About
minutes.
the market or anything? Or?
It just really just got to have confidence that this is going to get over with, and staying out there in the market. Anything, even the chance coffee shop meeting, just to have a conversation and know somebody, that's where your next client's going to come from. And frankly, even if they're not buying houses now, you need a home sale next January too. And if they're not ready till next January, they're just as valuable as the one that's going to buy tomorrow.
Good point.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I appreciate you being in here. We're going to shift gears. We're going to get you into the ring for some rapid fire. Cool.
Okay.
And a big shout out to our sponsor, Security Title Agency and Fidelity National Home Warranty.
Yeah.
All right, Patrick, you ready? Tony, you're going to answer these too.
Oh,
All right,
All
let's
right.
do it.
I'm not as ready for this, so that's good. I'm
You're good. All right. Podcasts or YouTube videos?
YouTube.
YouTube.
yeah, I'll go YouTube.
All
I'm
right.
old.
Pizza or cheeseburgers?
Pizza.
Mm.
I'm going pizza.
Oh, did Patrick say pizza also?
Yeah, I said pizza. Yeah.
Oh, I must have missed it.
Sorry.
How about Apple or Android?
Android.
I got to say I'm bilingual, so Linux, Unix, I don't care. Bring it on.
Linux. You got your TRS-80 there in the back.
I do. It's in my signature line. You'll see it.
That's funny. Well, this is Joey's favorite podcast.
Yeah, it is, because
He's Android also.
using a whole
Right. Android.
It doesn't happen very often.
S21 Ultra.
Wow. How about what is your favorite or your dream classic car?
Oh, my dream classic car is a 1978 Eldorado convertible.
Eldorado convertible. Okay.
White on white.
That's Cadillac.
White on white.
Eldorado.
I owned one at one time, and I never had the convertible, but
Yeah.
One of my parents' first car was a 65 Mustang white on white convertible
Nice.
that they should have kept.
Of course. We should have all kept our old cars.
Well,
How about
I
you,
still
Tony?
have my old car. I have a 69 Camaro SS.
oh,
It's got 30,000 original miles. I'm the second owner. I bought it from a client of mine who bought it new here in Arizona at Madison Chevrolet, which is now Courtesy Chevrolet. I have all the documentation, the window sticker, the whole bit.
Wow.
It
Awesome.
sits in my folks' garage, and I drive it once in a while. But if I could have one more car, I would probably say the Pontiac GTA, the Grand Touring Edition, the gold package. Just a
I love
pretty
I love
car.
the Pontiacs, Tony. I mean, GTO is my second. I saw some of those at the car show this weekend, and
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, the Veterans Car Show this year was great too. By the way, we got we're already starting for the West Valley for next year. We serve, so I'm looking for sponsors. Always bring us some money for our veterans and our real estate community. We're helping a lot of people.
you got me.
Appreciate it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Tony, my first car was a 65 Chevy Impala, 2-door hardtop. I really liked that. And then my second car was a 69 Camaro, not the SS model, but 69 Camaro.
Nice.
Liked it too. Midnight blue with white racing stripes or rally.
Really? Yeah, this is white with the black bumblebee.
Got it.
It's crazy.
Awesome.
I mean, all the stickers are there. It's like a time capsule. When you look at it, you'll be like, wow.
My dad and I just restored this past year a 54 Chevy pickup.
Oh,
I didn't see that on Facebook. Did you post that?
Yeah, I
How
did.
miss that?
What? When we're done, I'll show you a picture on my phone.
Okay.
Let's see. Last thing. How about your favorite vacation destination?
oh boy. That's something that changes for me, but I would have to say, all things considered, physical issue of at my age dragging a canoe around is Boundary Waters canoe area. It's still the favorite place. Not real practical anymore for me, but northern Minnesota.
All right.
I'm going to go with where I grew up, and that would be Hawaii. I like it here, but I grew up in Hawaii, Pearl City on Oahu, and I got to tell you, we could make a day of sitting in front of the Patty's Chinese Kitchen and just giggling at the tourists as they walk by. So great food and giggling at people, who can ask for more?
That's
I'd
awesome.
rather be on the beach, though.
You still speak Pigeon?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think I have my Kaimaena status. So,
Got it. Nice.
Pigeon. Are you kidding? Is that really?
oh no, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say chirp, chirp, but
Yeah, no. Pidgin English is like it's like really a broken English. Well, matter of fact, when I moved here to the mainland, people didn't ask me where I was from. They asked me what I was. What are you? Where are you from?
Yeah.
Because I had this kind of East Coast with this broken Pidgin English. It was funny.
that is funny. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, if you guys ever watched the original, those old Dog the Bounty Hunters, when that started, he was talking that way a lot.
Pidgin English.
Okay. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's right.
All right. Thank you guys for both being on here. We appreciate it.
Always glad to be a part of
That's
this show.
great.
You know that.
Yeah, it's
I've
been
been
a fun
wanting to get
episode.
Patrick out here for a while, and there's always some, hiccup, something going on, but and almost didn't make it today, but we pulled it off. I was glad he was out here and we had fun.
Absolutely.
A couple of things jumped in to impede, but
Yeah. No. Well, thank you guys so much. And until next time, agents, we will see you later. Take care.